the sport when it started to today. Can you sum it up for us real quick?
Well, it's really progressing more quickly than I even thought. It's had a very slow beginning, of course. We used to just display the trucks and then just barely drive over the cars, and now it's to an all-out racing, and it's just we're just scratching the surface in the racing field. I think we're going to see a lot more refined, more powerful trucks, and a lot faster speeds.
This year, a Chevrolet took the win. I know you and Bob Tanner are not going to sit still for that. What do we have down the road for the Bigfoot trucks as far as engineering and development?
Well, we're doing a lot of engineering right now and some development of certain components to make that truck happen in the future. We've got 3 different designs. We don't know which one yet will best suit us, and that's going to take a little more R&D because we're going to try to take a giant leap forward and see what happens. So the truck we bring out is going to be something really different.
Well, Army, I'll tell you what, I cannot wait till our opening show of 1989, St. Paul, Minnesota, to see the new Bigfoot truck with Jim Kramer. He's taking on the Barbarian right now, and Jim Miller in the semifinals.
Miller comes out against Bigfoot, but look, Kramer, Richard, it looks like he actually flies this truck. He just has a soft touch about him, but he's going to the finals.
Jim Kramer moves to the championship round, a place he knows very well. Last year, he was in the championship round. The year before the championship round, but he did not fare so well the past 2 years as we see a replay of this race against the Barbarian, and look at how much air he gets between him and the junk cars.
He not only gets a lot of air, he gets a lot of distance. Notice he does go high, but look how far out he goes. That's an indication of a tremendous amount of ground speed, Richard.
Well, I was talking about Jim Kramer not faring too well in 1986 and 87 in the Hoosier Dome in the finals. Army, I know you were here both times.
Kramer came out in the final. They knew they had the front wheel drive out. Now remember, front wheels on these trucks are so important because if you nose over, you can gas it and the front wheels will pull you out. Kramer, as the screen shows, he's to your left, going against a Texas toy. He came out real good. The truck started to bounce a little bit on him. The problem came when he tried to land. He gassed it right here. Look at the air. Now the front end noses over, but he has no power to pull it out. The front end's gone. Kramer nails it over 2 years in a row. This year he's trying to turn that luck around, Richard.
And Army, that has got to be in the back of his mind what's happened the past 2 years here, though.
I agree with you. Earlier this afternoon, he wouldn't say anything, but he kind of had a little grin on his face.
Well, who is going to face Bigfoot? One of these 2 guys, either Rod Litzow and USA 1, your national champion, or a kid that's been running hot lately, Dave Wysork and Nightlife.
Wysork comes into this run, has to be considered the underdog. The dream race would be USA 1 against Bigfoot. People that bought that ticket would love to see that, but Wysork would like to be in there against Bigfoot. Not going to be the case. USA 1 and Bigfoot. The dream final is set up, Richard.
But a good race by Dave Wysork as he gave Rod Litzow all he could handle. USA 1, though, makes it to the championship round, and we have got that 1,000 are enjoying this Renegade's TNT Monster Truck Nationals, and we are getting set up for the championship round. Chevrolet, USA 1, and Rod Litzow, your national champion, don't forget, against Bigfoot and Jim Kramer. But right now it's time for the Renegade's TNT Monster Truck Challenge Question of the Week. This week's question of the week comes from Billy Gavin out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And Billy wants to know, what type safety equipment do the monster truck drivers wear while they compete? With us is Rod Litzow, the driver of the USA 1 machine, the 1988 Renegades TNT National Champion. And Rod, you can pretty well explain some of the safety paraphernalia you have.
Well, we start out, we have a full crash helmet that we wear, and then we have a neck brace that keeps our heads from bobbing around. And then we have a full fire suit with a kidney belt from the bouncing the kidneys take.
All right, so Billy, you can see no matter what motorsports event it might be, safety always comes first. And if you have a question of the week, send it to TNT Motorsports, 5515 Poplar Park Boulevard, Louisville, Kentucky, 40228. And if we use your question on a future ESPN broadcast, we'll send you an absolutely free TNT Motorsports racing hat. We are back to live action, and look at this, a changed twist of fate. That is USA 1 owner Everett Jasmer. They've got damage on that machine. Here's Army.
Richard, the problem seems to be the front drive shaft. It was bent on the previous run. Now, Everett Jasmer, the owner and designer of the vehicle, I don't know if they're going to get back in this thing. We're keeping an eye on the track officials to find out. Everything else looks good, but the front drive shaft is bent. We could tell a moment ago when they were moving, it was slopping around. Back up to you, Richard.
All right, Army, let's find out if we can hear from Jasper himself if they plan on running the finals here.
Jeff, can you confirm that?
Yes.
All right, so Army is just like it was all during 1988. USA won the Chevrolet against the Ford Bigfoot in the final for all the marbles in the Hoosier Dome. Only there's a new twist with the USA 1 machine.
Well, there's two new twists. Number one, the USA 1 is only going to have two-wheel drive. I don't know how safe that is. Number two, Jim Kramer is going to be driving the Bigfoot truck. So the big guns in the Bigfoot trying to put that USA 1 Chevrolet away, Richard.
And so your selection for the win?
Bigfoot.
And I'm going to agree with Army. Let's find out as we're ready for the finals in the Hoosier Dome. All right, Army, here we go. Ford, Bigfoot, Chevrolet, USA 1, they're off and rolling.
Hole shot by the Bigfoot truck. Kramer's going to take a win, and Rod Litzow, a smart drive. Two-wheel drive only. He didn't tear up any equipment. We will see that battle again in 1989, I'll guarantee you, Richard.
All right, so Jim Kramer finishes 1988 on a winning note in the Hoosier Dome.
First of all, we're going to congratulate Jim Kramer on a super job of driving out there, Jim.
Well, it got really squirrely, and I saw shades of last year and the year before, and I thought, this can't happen to me again.
What he's talking about on this weekend for the last 2 years, he's been on his head. Next year, this is over. This is 1988. We wrap it up. We put a bow on it. But we're coming out in a little bit for 1989. Is Bigfoot going to be making any changes? We're still trying to pump you for some information here.
You'll see a Bigfoot out here with drastic changes, I tell you. It'd be a lot lighter, a lot faster, a lot more motor, a lot more agile. And it's going to be something to see.
Okay, so actually we had three big stories tonight. Number one, Steve Dane and Awesome Kong, his winning streak ended at 4 in a row. He broke in the quarterfinals. Story number two, USA 1 got to the finals, but he got there limping to the starting line. He broke his front-wheel drive. He raced in the finals with only two-wheel drive, and that brought the win to Bigfoot. So story number three is Jim Kramer and Bigfoot starting their big comeback for 1989. For Army Armstrong, I'm Richard Lake. We'll see you again on the tracks across America.
Join us next time for Power Tracks, the most powerful sport on earth. Brought to you by TNT Motorsports, the nation's leader in pulling and monster truck racing.